Alright, people, we're gonna learn how to do an commercial account in our QQ today. As you all know that we have different policies and different account to create as you keep going for uh, different prospects and clients. As for right now, I'm gonna show you how can you add a commercial limousine or a trucker's policy. Now, the first thing first, we have a client ABC XYZ. It's just for your point that we are trying to show you what exactly can happen. We are trying to create a new policy. Regardless of what you do on a commercial business side is a different line, and in a commercial trucking or commercial limousine is going to be a different line. So what you're looking at is a monoline policy because it has only one line of business, and what you need is a commercial auto policy is what you would be going for. Now, the effective date can be anything that your agency manager or your client has tell you what the effective date of the policy is. As for right now, I don't have a date, so I'm assuming this client will be having an effective date of the March 26, 2019. I won't have a policy number. It is an annual policy, but I do not have an estimated premium. I do, if have a target, I can have it listed here. Say if the target was 4,500, I'll put it as 4,500 so that we know that this is what the target we're trying to achieve. Now on doing so, you're gonna go next and have a policy added with the insured's name. Now, a lot of times we get confused with a corporation and an insured name. Make sure the insured name is, if the person owns a corporation and does the business under a corporation, his name is going to be ABC Corporation Inc. with a DBA, ABC Limo. If not, he's going to have to have, if he does not have a corporation, he has a DBA but he does not have a corporation, you need to have him add as, say, Sabida DBA ABC Limo, because it's not a corporation. On this case, we're going to do a corporation, so I'm going to keep a corporation with a DBA. And moving forward, now, it's a commercial auto policy. We do not have a subline because we do not do a yearly 10-year policy or liability only policy. Yes, you do have an option if you're doing only liability for the client or not doing a physical damage. You can give them only liability, or you can just leave it blank. Everything else gets pulled over from the previous account. Make sure the business type you listed is a new business, not a renewal. Now, moving forward, we're going to have our policy source. If you have a caller who is generating the lead, I would suggest just put a lead generator or a reference and put the name of the caller that we are trying to do right now. The caller that I have right now is going to be, say, Sadhvi. I'm putting her name, or any CSR who is my caller, and then it is going to have an effective date. The agent, however, is going to be your person or the agent manager who gave you the account, and the agent and the producer is going to be always the same. So make sure you have that in the system listed, and a CSR, preferably the same person. The policy description is where you need to list me what exactly it is. Is it a limousine? Is it taxi? Is it cab? Or taxi meter taxi, or NMT, or any kind of business? What exactly do they do? Once you do that, mostly it's black car limousine that we're currently doing. So we're going to put black car limousine and go next. Now we have on the second screen is where it asks you for a code. We do not have anything coded, so I'm going to put one code. If your agent manager has given you a coded on it, I would want you to put information saying that are you getting in a course, then it will be an app submitted for code. If they have a code, they're going to change it to code. For right now, I'm just waiting on customer to get me the information. I don't know who the carrier is. I don't know any conditions on it. So I'm just going to say that it's going to be coded by Miss Eliza on this case, and it's going to be a new business, and we just keep moving forward. Now, there is no agency fee. Location is schedule is something I really want you guys to concentrate on. This is where you're going to put the garaging address. Pretty much means where the cars are garaged or where the limousines are parked. If you import it, if you have an address already listed in the first page, you're going to have it imported. So you're going to import that. and just add it, import it, and it's done. The next is going to be an additional insured. I know City of Dallas and City of Houston is what we usually have additional insured. If you have a new one, you can add it, saying that it's an additional insured, it's a city, and you can have City of Dallas, City of Houston, their addresses. I know for sure in the system we have a City of Dallas already on there, so you can just add City of Dallas and move forward with it. The nature of the business is what I want you to write is it a service or a retail? Now, so when you say retail, you're pretty much selling a product. When you say service, you're providing service to the other person. So on this case, it's a service where they are a limousine service provider, also known as Black Car. Now, I do have a description. If you know when they started, you can put it in. Say they started 5 years back, 4 years back, 10 years back, 9 years back. I'm just going to put a date and say that, okay, they started back then. Now, these are the coverages we were talking about, mentioning that if it's a combined single limit, are they splitting the limits, being each person is accident. 90% of the time, it's going to be a combined single limit as is a requirement. And the symbol is going to be number 7, which is pretty much means, it says in schedule symbol, pretty much meaning that whatever the policy or the VIN number is listed in the policy is the only one that's covered. Nothing else is covered. Now, CSL is going to be, say, $1 million is what we usually look at. If the client is going for uninsured, you want to put a CSL limit here too. If they are not, just leave it the way it is. Comprehensive and collision is if you're giving them a full coverage, I would suggest that you put all the full coverages on there with the towing and just keep going next. Sorry. All right. On the next page is a vehicles where you're gonna add what year they are, what make and mod. So say it's a Chevy Suburban, VIN number say 1TG14. I'm just gonna put a random one. Body type, is it a limo? It's a car. What's the stated amount is what you're going to put is what the amount of the vehicle is, like what currently the value the client wants. Now you can have it in Google, you can find it in Google what exactly they want. So you can go to say Google and say value of 2001 Chevy Suburban. So that way, or if you put the VIN number, it does give you a number of pricing on it, how much usually it costs. So as you can see, it will give you an estimated that they're selling it for 6,000-7,000. Now you can put 10,000 to 20,000. A garaging address where they park. Radius is how far they go and how far they are working on. So I would say around at least 100 has to be there, or 500 is what you're looking at. Now, comp and collision deductibles applies for when the car gets into an accident, when there is a hail damage. Those are the things you need to put a deductible that the client wants you to pick. The second part is driver, where you're going to import the driver. Say if the owner is already imported, you can just put that person's name and they have their driving license number, the last name, the date of birth, the license number, the state, when it was the license, how long he's been in license, their marital status, when did they actually join the company, where do they live, which city, and what are they going to, which vehicle are they going to use. So if you can pick a vehicle, that's the best option, because that way, say if there is 4 drivers and 4 vehicles in a corporation, you can exactly assign each driver to each vehicle and say that they use 100% of the vehicle. On that, you're going to move forward and have the remarks. Remarks is where if you ask a client if they have a claim or anything, you can list it there. If the company has a claim or something, you can list it there. So imagine in October 18th of 2010, they had 2016, they had a comp claim where they get paid 5,000 for the vehicle. So that's what you're looking at and you're trying to put. Once you fill up all the information, it's gonna put you back to the pending policy and it's gonna make you do the policy. Now, whenever underwriter, the agent manager gives you a account or a code, I want you to start putting the codes on here. And your part will be when you, if you're making an accords, you're going to make it a accords applications. If not, you're just going to keep going forward. The thing I wanted to teach you is an endorsement. It cannot be done on a pending policy. But say, imagine I sold the quote for 5,000 and I want to do an endorsement. All I need to do is endorse and make a reason on what the endorsement is going to be. Currently, the endorsement is going to be pending. I want you to make an effective. I can show you an example. On one of my clients, we were trying to do under his policy, we did an endorsement for 4,000. So when I did an endorsement, there was a pending endorsement which says that, okay, this is the first page of the endorsement where it says endorsement information. Exactly what are you endorsing? Are you adding a driver? You're adding a vehicle? So it says we are adding a 2016 GMC Yukon, valued at this much, seating capacity this much, with the driver this person. And then we go next. They will ask you what the endorsement amount is. You put in the endorsement amount, you go forward, and never an agency fee. Endorsement down payment, however, is a 20. It's a self-calculated. It says 25%. That means whenever you do an endorsement, the client has to pay that down payment to you right there and then for you to move on with an endorsement, and you can do the finance on the endorsement later on. But as of right now, he has to put 1,068 down, and we're gonna do finish. Once you do finish, his status gets pending. Reason being the client does not have an approval yet, or they haven't given me an approval. Once you tell the company, okay, he approves, he gives you the down payment, you can go ahead and change it to approve, and this gets added onto the policy, and the policy becomes 16,000 plus the 4230. So that's a part of the endorsement that I wanted you guys to learn. Going back to our dummy account, anything that you do, and say the client, you're getting a quote, you're trying to negotiate, I want you to put, if you're sending it to three different quotes to three different people, I want you to say, okay, I send it one to one, and then now I'm sending another quote to, say, I'm quoting it with, I'm just waiting submitted to, say, Helios or Worth Casualty is one of our carriers. So I'm going it through Worth Casualty, and I'm waiting on Helios to give me a quote. I submitted it today. I'm expecting it to be here by the next month. And that's another thing you're going to do, is you're going to put it on the status saying that, okay, so when I see on your status, I can see, okay, you have a first quote, you submitted it, and you are trying to get it from Progressive, imagine, and say Progressive County Mutual is what you're going to pick. So you're doing with Progressive and you're waiting on them. So this gives me a snapshot of that, okay, this person got it from two different carriers, they have it submitted. So imagine you got a quote from Helios for 2,600. So once you get it, or the underwrite on the manager gets it, she's going to put 2,600, and she's going to say, okay, now you know what, I'm going to quote it, and I'm going to propose it because the other one doesn't look right. So you can see that this app submitted will, you have to automatically decline it because we moved it somewhere else. And eventually when you issue the policy, this policy which says quoted proposed, it will let you, it will ask you which policy do you want to issue. Are you trying to issue, because we decline, it's issuing me for Worth Casualty. But if you didn't have, say, a quote from Worth Casualty for 2,600, and I had Progressive, say they quoted me and I proposed it for imagine 3,500. Okay, so I have now two quotes, one from Progressive and one from Worth, saying that 3,500 and 2,600. Now when I'm trying to issue the policy, it tells me which option do you want to pick. Do you want to pick 2,600 or 3,500? Which one is good for you to go with? So whichever the carrier or the insured is okay with, just go ahead and pick that and just go ahead and issue the policy. That's how we have to issue the policy. Now once the issuing comes, the notes and the task and everything needs to be there. Always make sure your tasks are there. So if you're waiting on something on clients for paperwork and payment to bind, I want you to keep that in note, assign yourself on it, and say, okay, he agreed on price. on, imagine he agreed yesterday, which is the 11th, and now waiting on paperwork. That's all we're going to do. And you keep following up. So whenever you follow up, say if I'm imagining to follow up on the 15th, I'm going to just put saying that, okay, 15th, call the client, no response. Then again on the 20th, I followed up, and imagine I got the paperwork. So I would say I got the documents, sending it to bind effective the end of the month, which is 30th of 2019. That's how you're going to put notes and complete the task when you're done. So when you did it on 3/11, which is yesterday, you would have put a note for 3/12. When you followed up on 3/15, you're going to put a note for 3/28. That's okay, you know what, I'm going to follow him after 2 working days, which is the 28th. So when you do 28th and everything is done, you're going to say, okay, it's completed, and I'm going to complete it. This is one of the process of how you complete task. Okay, let's just stop the video on this one, and we can have any questions or concerns that you have. I would love for you guys to come up with different reasons, ask me any questions that you have, and ask your supervisor, ask your manager on how everything needs to be there. Any missing information will just create a hassle on it. All right, let me finish this one, and we'll see you on the next manual. Thank you.